So fall is finally almost here. I don't know about you, but I'm personally very excited for fall to finally arrive because although I do like summer, I do not like the heat and I'm sick of the 30-degree weather. So I'm very excited for fall to come. I know that some people are so excited that they seem to think that fall starts in the middle of August. Um, I think that's a little bit extreme. Like in mid August, it was still like 40 degrees. So yeah, I'm very excited for fall to come, and I have made a list of all the books that I'm planning to read in fall. I say planning in quotations because if you need to know something about me, is that I'm very much a mood reader. So TBRs generally don't work the best for me. I will plan to read things and then I will usually completely disregard it and just read whatever I want to read in the moment. But I still want to make TBRs, first of all, because I want to be a more like organized person. I want to start planning more in my life in general, but also when it comes to reading. And there are some books that I've been sitting on my shelves for quite a while at this point, and so I need to read them. I need to read them. I want to read them. So first of all, the first books that I'm planning to read this fall are books that I'm currently reading right now. Which the first one is The Awakening by Kate Chopin. It's a classic. It's a book about this woman who is very sick of her life, I would say. And so she starts basically doing what she wants. She starts to go against conventions and just like basically disregard what she's meant to do as a woman, especially as a wife, as a mother. And so, yeah, that's basically what the book is about. I'm not finished yet. I'm at like 79%, I think. So I'm almost finished, but I'm reserving my thoughts, my final thoughts, for when I'm actually finished with it. But what I can say now is that I know that the book was very controversial at its time, so much so that the author actually got her career ruined because of it, because it was so controversial. And I know it was a different time, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit confused as to like why it was like I understand that it was controversial, but to this extent, I'm just like, really? Like it was that big of a deal at the time? Because I mean, there are quite I would say like feminist themes, but to the point of ruining someone's career, that's kind of wild. But yeah, like I said, I'm not finished with it yet, so I will reserve my thoughts for when I'm completely done with it. But yeah, so this is the book that I'm currently reading right now. The other book that I'm currently reading is, and that I plan on finishing this fall, is Leech by Hiron Ennes. Pardon me if that's not how you pronounce it. I probably should have looked that up before coming here, but oh well. Sorry. So this is a horror book. It's the story of this doctor who is called to this hospital. Is it a hospital? This center, because the last doctor died, and so they're investigating the death of this doctor. From what I understand, I just started it. I'm like 25 pages into it, so I very much just started, and I don't have a lot of thoughts right now. My main thought is that I'm very confused as to what is going on because it's very weird. It's very confusing. I will say right off the bat you can definitely feel the atmosphere. It feels very cold, very gloomy, weird. I feel like the cover of the book is actually a perfect representation of the atmosphere of the book. Like this is what it feels like to read the book. Also, right off the bat, you have some pretty grim descriptions. So I feel like if you're a bit squeamish, you probably should be careful with this book because the descriptions are quite graphic. That's basically my thoughts right now for this book, and I'm excited to finish it and see what I think. And yeah, the next book that I want to read for fall, and I've had this book in my TBR for way too long. For someone who claims to like dark academia, I've had this book in my TBR for way, way too long. It's The Secret History by Donna Tart. This is the quintessential fall book, the quintessential dark academia book. I need to read it. I like dark academia. I can't even explain to you why I still haven't read it. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit scared that I'm not gonna like it that much because you know when something is hyped very very much on the internet, there's always there are always expectations, and you're always scared that you're not gonna like it as much as everyone else. But I mean, since I tend to like dark academia, I also can't see why I wouldn't like it. But I don't know. I don't know. I just need to get over it and read it because at this point it's becoming ridiculous. I don't know how long I've had this book, but way too long. I've had it for way too long, and I just need to read it, and hopefully I'll love it. The next book that I want to read this fall is a book that I've bought pretty recently actually, but I've been meaning to read from this author for quite a while now, sorry. And it's Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. I've been meaning to read Murakami for a while because I've seen a lot about him, and I have a friend who actually like him. So I want to try his books. I bought Norwegian Wood. Not gonna lie, I didn't really. How do I say this? Like I basically bought Norwegian Wood because it's his most famous one and it's the one that my bookstore had. But I don't know if it's actually his best one because I've seen some people who really didn't like this book. So I don't really know. I hope I like it. I know that Murakami is quite a controversial author because of the way he writes women. But honestly, like I've been a really, I wouldn't say a really big, I mean, would I say I'm a really big fan of Stephen King? I've read a lot of his books. He's definitely the author that I've read the most from, but I don't know if I would say I'm a big fan because while I do like his books, there are certain things about them that I don't like so much, and the way he writes women sometimes, and the way he writes like sexual stuff sometimes, is a big part of why I don't want to consider myself a fan. So yeah, but like I said, I've read quite a few Stephen King books, and he's known for his questionable portrayal of women. So I feel like I should be good with Murakami. Like if I've read so many Stephen King and like I could go past it, I feel like I should be good with Murakami. But I don't know. I don't know. You never know because I haven't read him yet. So maybe maybe I will not think that way once I actually read him. But nonetheless, I'm quite excited to finally see what all this is about. So yeah, I really want to read this fall, hopefully. Another quintessential dark academia book and fall book that I want to read is If We Were Villains by M.L Rio, which is also another book that I've had on my TBR for quite a while now, and I really want to read it. Um, yeah, I don't really have much to say about it other than I know it's compared to The Secret History a lot. I feel like when people talk about dark academia, they mostly talk about The Secret History and If We Were Villains. And I also know that people tend to either love one or the other. It's from what I've seen, it's very rare when someone like both of them as much as the other. So I'm kind of fuck, I forgot my word. I'm kind of oh my god, why can't I why can't I remember the word? Curious. Oh my god, why did it take me so long to find this word? Yeah. So I'm quite curious to see where I will fall on like whether I prefer The Secret History versus If We Were Villains. So hopefully I read both this fall. Maybe I will make a video like reading both. I don't know, but maybe I will. But hopefully I will read both this fall and see which one I like better. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Again, another book that I've had for quite a while that was actually a gift by one of my friends. sorry that I still haven't read it because I really loved the TV show, and I know that the book is nothing like the TV show, but I like I like horror. I tend to like classics, not all of them, but I tend to like some classics. And I really want to see like how different from the show the book is. So I really want to read it and hopefully I'll like it just as much. I've been meaning to read a Toni Morrison book for so long at this point. Honestly, it's the fact that I studied English lit and I still haven't read Toni Morrison is honestly pretty embarrassing, I feel like, because she's such a staple in like American literature. The fact that I still haven't read her is a crime, in my opinion. And so this fall, I really want to read a book from her, finally. So I want to read Beloved. I don't remember what it is about actually. I think it's about a slave who tries to escape, who has a daughter or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've had it in my TBR that I honestly like don't even remember what it's about, which is kind of yikes. But I really want to read it. I really want to see why Toni Morrison is so acclaimed. And yeah, I just really want to see what she's all about. And I am sure that I'm gonna love her writing because I do really love good writing, and this is something that she's been like mostly praised for. So I'm really excited to finally read her. I need to read it. I need to read it this fall because at this point, if I don't read it this fall, I feel like I'm never gonna read her. So it needs to happen. Then I also want to really read actually wanted to read this book in the summer, but clearly it did not happen because, like I said, I'm not a good planner. But I really want to read finally The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai. I want to read it this fall because I've been meaning to read this book also for quite a while. Like this is clearly the common theme here. I know that this book is about the AIDS crisis in the 80s, and it's a dual timeline. It's from the 80s and also more modern day, and apparently it's very sad. I know that it's compared a lot to A Little Life in terms of like how sad it is. I've never read A Little Life, another book that I need to read at some point, but I'm not planning to read it in anytime soon because I feel like I have to be in a certain mood to read something like A Little Life, considering how traumatizing it seems to be. But apparently, I'm in a mood to read something that is just as, just as sad, but people say that it's not as traumatizing. So I will take it. But yeah, I really want to read it. I've heard so many people praise this book and say that it's great. So yeah, I really want to read it. It shall happen this fall, finally. Christine by Stephen King. I'm I have the project to read, if not all, at least most of Stephen King books. Like I said, I really like Stephen King books. There are some things about his writing and about his books that I'm not a fan of, that I actually really, really dislike. But I can't lie, I've enjoyed most of the books that I read from him that I didn't enjoy. This sentence was not proper English, but you understand what I mean. Yeah, I enjoy most of the books that I read from Stephen King. I do like his how do you call it? His concepts, like his premises. I like when I hear about a premise from Stephen King, they always sound so interesting to me. Sometimes the delivery of the premise is not the best. And there have been some of his books that I felt like had a cool premise and didn't quite stick the landing. But most of the time, I like his books fine, and so I want to read most of his books. And the one that I want to read this month is Christine. If not all of his books, I at least want to read like his most popular ones. And yeah, at this point, I think I've read like I think it's between 12 and 15 of his books. So I've read I mean compared to how much he's written, I feel like it's not that much, but it's still quite a lot from one author. And so yeah, I'm planning to I've had a few more that I'm planning to read. And yeah, the one that I chose this month is Christine. Another book that I'm planning to read this fall is actually a book that I don't own physically, but I've heard about. It's the new book by Paul Tremblay. I think it's called The Beast You Are. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's a book of short stories. I actually don't really know what it's about. I don't know what the short stories are about. And honestly, I'm actually not someone who reads a lot of collection of short stories, but I do like Paul Tremblay as an author, and I've heard, some good things about it. So I've been wanting to read it. And so yeah, I really want to read this book this fall also. And I'll see if I like it or not. There you have it. These are the 10 books that I want to read this fall. I'm actually planning to read a lot more than 10 books in the fall, but because, like I said, I'm not big on planning, I feel like I felt like I would give myself more of a chance to actually like read those books if I let myself some room to include other books that I want to read in the moment and stuff like that. That's why I've only been planning to read these 10 books, and hopefully I will actually read them. But I'm gonna try my best to actually read those books, and yeah, these were all the books that I want to read this fall. And if I don't read them, you're allowed to yell at me if you want. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. And if you did, you can give a like if you want. You can subscribe also if you want. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.